What's up, everybody? Derek Johnson here. Just thought I'd come on here and just introduce myself for the new people that may have just now stumbled on me or heard about me. So, just a regular guy. I'm retired Army veteran. Before I got flown back into what I'm doing right now with, I hate the word politics, but government military. I was in Nashville, Tennessee. I successfully beat the billboard, and not the way that I think his name's Scott McDonald did with Hot Country Songs. Hot Country Songs don't have anything to do with the actual industry, like the major record labels, radio, etc. I beat the labels and the radio portion. That is where all the sponsors are. That's where all the endorsements are. That's where all the record deals. It's mainly major label artists on that chart. My team and I beat that really, really bad, independently, without a major record label. And so then I wrote a book about that. But, didn't get to write about it until after what happened with me going viral on a video talking about what's happening with President Trump and how you're watching a military government, military occupation, military operation, continuity government by law. And God allowed me to go through all that and then write the book after my other two books that are #1 bestsellers. So, if you wonder why God put me here, I mean, a country music artist is used to what? Publicity. And also negative publicity. So you'll see people out there talking about me, don't know me from Adam's house cat. They don't know anything about me. They'll take a photo and they'll put it up and they'll spin some kind of narrative. First off, I have a badge through the state of Oklahoma broadcasting, which requires Department of Defense background checks and all kinds of different paperwork to even get that. So I have that. Which means I'm official capacity. And then, other than that, I mean, all these people out there talking, you're slandering and defaming a retired veteran who's simply just straight up telling the laws and the orders of what's in place. So when you see stuff out there, ladies and gentlemen, of someone taking a photo and they're trying to spin some narrative, it's the same thing they do to President Trump. Same thing they do to Don Jr., Ivanka, all of them. It's the same thing. So how are they a truth seeker, and how are they telling the truth when they don't have anything? You can go look up my background check. I think a lot of people have done that because someone emailed me. A couple people emailed me on an email that doesn't even exist anymore. It exists. It still works, but it's not posted anywhere. And I've received some emails that way. So people have apparently looked up my background, which it'll show all your former numbers and emails and things like that. So that's all right. People don't bother me when they finally do find my number or something like that. But it needs to be said. So I'm gonna read something. I'm not a preacher by any means, but I'm gonna read you some stuff from the Bible. So the Bible says this: brothers and sisters, do not slander one another. Anyone who speaks against a brother or sister judges them, speaks against the law, and judges it. When you judge the law, you're not keeping it, but sitting in judgment on it. It says, do not go about spreading slander among your people. Do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord. The fruit of righteousness is the tree of life, and the one who is wise saves lives. If the righteous receive their due on earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner? I mean, can't get any more clear than that. Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from telling lies. All my enemies whisper together against me. They imagine the worst for me. Set a guard over my mouth, Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Besides, they get into the habit of being idle and going about from house to house. And not only do they become idlers, but also busybodies who talk nonsense, saying things they ought not to. I mean, this is all straight out of the Bible. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. As charcoal to embers And as wood to fire, so is quarrelsome person for kindling strife. The words of gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the inmost parts. They have become filled with every kind of wickedness, evil, greed, and depravity. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and malice. They are gossips, slanderers, God-haters, insolent, arrogant, and boastful. They invent ways of doing evil. They disobey their parents. They have no understanding, no fidelity, no love, no mercy. Although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these things, but also approve of those who practice them. I mean, it's straight out of the Bible. Straight out of the Bible. So it's like a major that I go on podcasts with, Major Jim O'Connor, who's now a bishop. It's like he says, if it's not of love, power, and a sound mind, it's not of God. All right, now I'm not a preacher. And I don't get on my podcast and preach and tell people what they ought to do and how they ought to live and, what they should do. But again, I expect negative stuff. I expect some things, but when I'm a retired veteran with a clean record, with a badge, straight up doing nothing but showing laws and orders, got the only books. These are the only books, and will forever be the only books because of intellectual property, thanks to President Trump's executive order. I've got the only books that are #1 bestsellers that explain the 45-47, just doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a retired veteran. Now, yes, they're books. Yes, you have to buy them. But they have to be printed as well. So if you want a Cliff Note version of what's been taking place the last 9 years going on 10, then you need to know the chronological order. Not all the stuff in between. This is the military paired with the federal of that. And this is part 2. These are no publisher, independent, no ghostwriter. I wrote all these right off the top of my head, and also the laws and the orders. All right, this is more special operations based. So let me give you a quick example of what criminals look like and jealous people and all that. So there was a group that came after me like 2 or 3 years ago, and they tried to steal my federal trademark. They tried to register my trademark through the USPTO.gov. All right, so forever says live and abandoned. Well, we found out what was going on and found out someone was trying to do that. I put a long post up about this is what these people are doing, this is what they're trying to do, and it's looking like extortion and all these other things. Within 6 days, didn't find out later, my lawyer didn't find out later, we didn't find out till December, but way over in December, we found out within 6 days of me putting out this warning, they filed for a letter of abandonment. All right, well, you wouldn't file for a letter of abandonment if you weren't guilty, if you thought, oh, that's my trademark. So it shows that they had intent and motive. They also said they were going to try to prevent book sales. They were trying to intercept messages. So that's straight up defamation, slander, fraud. And they also try to frame me talking to certain kinds of females. They tried to Photoshop certain kinds of, and they were going to put this out there. That's straight up defamation, slander. When you take a photo and you try to put a narrative behind it, that's defamation, slander, and frame up, which is a felony. So if you see someone doing that, that's what they're doing. And I've already gone through JAG, already gone through the process, military court. We didn't even have to get to court because I had so much evidence on these stupid people that do. This is how dumb they are. This is what a criminal does. It shows you that they just want fame and some kind of notoriety. This dude walked by his mailbox in a video on a personal page. Walked by his mailbox and had the house in the background. Well, you go to USPTO.gov where the idiots didn't know how to hide their addresses and their phone numbers and their email addresses, and that address matched with what was on his personal video. That's how dumb a criminal is. So when you see slander out there, libel, defamation, someone takes a photo of me and they're trying to spin some narrative, it's all false. I've already been proven. I've been with President Trump about 14 different times in the last couple years. All his people. I have my badge. I have a clean record. So all these people are trying to spin a narrative. All right. I beat country music. I'm not a part of the system. I beat this system really bad. And I'm the only one that's written a book about the dirty system of country music and how to beat the system. So be careful who you follow out there.